Wintertime for T2PTV has spread out the casting net for content to as close as Jenneau's new designs and as far as... Wait, which country is farther away, Iceland or Cuba? I'm gonna have to look that one up, but either way, these cameras in our offices are aiming at more than just sailing.
If you want to listen to my funny stories and adventures, you can come with me.
Ashley, well, me, I have some big news, and it's wrapped up within this story of glacier walks on receding ice, howling winds in vacant highlands, northern lights in 25 degrees, avoiding volcanic eruptions, and getting toasted by locals. What do you say in Icelandic? Skál. I looked it up. Cuba is closer by about half, but what it takes to get to this failed country is what gives it the feeling that it is centuries away. In some ways it is. From the United States, there are no planes to fly there and obviously no roads to drive there. So the plan was to sail there from West Palm Beach, Florida. Director 40, crew of 4. Duncan Spencer, the owner of the boat.
I think the ocean is not a barrier, it's the most incredible road. There's only a few people that like to play on it, and I want to be one of them.
Dave Dunigan, the navigator.
I stood at the kitchen and waited with the lady and the cook for that fork to come back, because they weren't leaving, and they weren't going to let me leave until they had that fork.
And me, Ashley Love, and several cameras to document the trip. The full first part of this 3-part documentary will air on T2PTV, but not before its big premiere at the Boatyard Bar and Grill.
She wants to take a picture. Gentlemen, thank you for your trouble.
The places we saw and the people we met helped us achieve our goal, which was to see the real Cuba. We were tourists, most certainly, but there are several ways to be a tourist. For the rest of the adventure, we chose to integrate ourselves with the culture by speaking with locals, eating like locals, trying to talk like locals, and travel like locals. The only way to gain perspective in your own world is by walking in another's shoes. And that's exactly what we did.
When performance counts, the choice is clear. North sails, better by design.
For your local report, Dave's weather report.
When how cold it is out here. Cold as cold.
Your global report, on the other hand, comes from the Volvo Ocean Race. Over to you, Sebastian Destop of Destop News.
Bo Bacon and Tim Brunel found a very timely change of gear and edged to a 16 minutes victory in the second leg of the Volvo Ocean Race. The Dutch skipper, competing in a record 7th race, looked relieved to have won a thrilling battle with the Chinese boat.
It's nice to have a win under our belt, and yeah, the guys did a fantastic job, and it's good to be first.
A few hours before the finish, and even though both boats are only a couple of hundred meters apart, Tim Brunel suddenly finds an extra surge of wind pressure to sweep past Tim Dongfeng.
This morning was really surprising because we were quite a bit behind them, and all of a sudden there was 25 knots of breeze, and we just sailed from a mile behind them till 2 miles in the lead, so that was a really good feeling.
Following 23 days, 16 hours, 25 minutes and 20 seconds at sea, the Dutch team is celebrating a well-deserved victory in Abu Dhabi. For the second leg running, the Chinese boat is forced to settle for second place. If we can manage coming second all the way, I think we can win the race. Meanwhile, Edouard Monette is the winner of the virtual Volvo in Abu Dhabi. We caught up with him via Skype.
Well, the key point of this leg for me was to take the north route towards Mauritius right after leaving Cape Town, when everybody was heading south. I think we were about 30 boats to actually play for victory very early in the leg.
Now, it's not the best time to be thinking about man overboards, considering the only way you should be anywhere near the water this time of year is in a dry suit.
You better film.
Film what?
Are you filming?
Oh!
The landing?
But these people have upped the game on going overboard. Whether it's drunkenness, giddiness, a lack of depth perception.
He's got a rope. It's not tied to anything. He's got a rope. Well, what do you think you're going to do? He's going to jump. I know him. Oh, shit, Carl!
Or a grasp at survival. I hope everyone has a safe and dry winter out there.
What happened?
If the year was a day, Miami and the Caribbean would be the early risers, and the worm is the masses of one designs on Biscayne Bay. Bacardi, Miami Sailing Week, is back with a vengeance. Farther to the south, the St. Thomas International Regatta. Its second year named as such, and the reputation just keeps growing. It is boasted that sailing is a sport where you can sail with the top athletes. Naturally, the local stars gather more so in the big regattas closest to them. Let us take you on a world tour of where stars are born, which could help you become the next one. Registration is now open for the 2015 BVI Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival. Denny Key boasts warm water for you and your cruising, one design, or maxi boat. Hot racing around the islands and buoys with top-notch race committees. Bareboat charter is available as well. Just add your crew of your family and friends. Explore all of the deep turquoise water Tortola has to offer, and don't forget the cool parties in the sand every night at the Regatta Village. BVI Spring Regatta and Sailing Festival, March 30th through April 5th, 2015.
You know, a lot of people think that the wintertime is a slow time of the year for us. But the reality is, it's a very busy time of the year when it comes to boat shows. We start off in Paris in December. In January, we go to Chicago, Vancouver, Seattle, and San Diego. Hi, I'm Paul Fenn. I'm president of Jenneau America, and I recently was in France to look at a brand new project of ours, the Jenneau 64. This is an exciting new model. It's the largest boat that Jenneau has ever built. We're going to be seeing this boat at the Annapolis show in October of 2014. Between now and then, however, we have a lot of work to do, and I was able to catch up with my friend, Eric Stromberg, to tell us a little bit about this exciting new project.
So I'm with Eric Stromberg here. We're in front of the Jenneau 64, rather exciting project. And in 30 seconds or less, tell us everything we need to know about this boat, why someone would choose this as their next big boat and go cruising around the world.
You're challenging me, you know, usually I can speak for hours on this sort of topic.
That's true.
We really built it around 4 key aspects. The first one was making a yacht that was in a super yacht style, so really giving somebody that real upgrade into the super yacht world. Not just a bigger cruising boat, but really a big step forward. The second idea that we built the boat around was this idea of deck life. You know, you spend most of the time on the boat, on the exterior of the boat, so we made a gigantic cockpit, we made a big flush foredeck. In fact, the cockpit and lounging areas of this boat, it's over 50% of the length of the deck given over to lounging and relaxation. So eating, reading, sleeping, sailing, of course, on the exterior of the deck. Down below, we talk about generosity of space. So really giving somebody an additional space throughout. So not necessarily trying to cram in more items or more cabins or anything like that, but really building out the head so that every head has a separate shower, making large lounge areas, fantastic galley spaces, and of course centralizing a lot of our functions inside of the engine room compartment, which makes for easy maintenance and of course keeps the sound down on the boat. And the last thing that we designed the boat around was this idea of being engineered for choice. what we wanted to do was to use our industrial power to engineer in a variety of different choices for the client, whether that be on the inside of the boat with different woods, on the exterior of the boat even to have different transom arrangements and so forth. So using our engineering power to give the choice to the customer at a very reasonable price. So that's really the boat in a nutshell.
I think that's a great description, and one of the things that you mentioned earlier was that the client has some customizable choices, which is what you just talked about, but because of the industrial power of the company behind it, you can do those things at a much more reasonable cost that you're going to find on a totally custom super yacht.
Exactly. Remember that when you do a custom yacht is always the vision of somebody. So you have that yacht, and then you can change whatever you want. But every time you change something, it costs you a fortune. You want to move a door? That's no problem. You want another piece of furniture? That's no problem. But every one of those choices has a huge impact. Here, the idea is you can configure a boat from the beginning, and the choices you pick don't impact really the price of the boat that much. So you have a lot of flexibility while keeping a very reasonable base price.
Well, we're going to see more of this exciting boat in the months to come, but for now, we're off to a good start. Hull number 1, right here. Awesome. Thanks, brother.